Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sordward and Shielbert's Spectacular Podcast, episode 4. I'm joined by some lovely coaches today. We got the head coach of the Tuscaloosa Talonflames, Jack.
How's it going?
Joined once again, I guess he wanted more punishment or something, head coach of the Worcester Delibirds, Juan.
What's up?
And a season 1 vet, head coach of the LA Kinglers, Matt.
How's it going?
Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Doing great.
Good.
Thanks again, Juan, for joining me again. Jack, one of the new coaches, Tuscaloosa Talonflames. Thanks for joining me, and it's good to see a veteran on the podcast today, Matt. Good to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the week in between the draft and the first week of games. So it's a lot of preparing for the teams. We finally know what Pokemon we're going to be allowed to use. So I'm sure a lot of people are grinding, trying to figure stuff out. This is a lot of prep this week. So we'll go over some of that. We'll touch on the draft, get your guys' perspective. And then we got some mailbag questions as well. A lot of them from Facebook this week. We appreciate all our fans. Thank you. Actually, let's go back a week and let's talk about the draft. Obviously, we got my perspective last week for my team and a general overview. So I figured we'll give everybody a turn to kind of go over their team and go over their general draft strategy and what they were thinking. So Jack, do you want to start us off? We can go over your team here. I'll bring it up real quick.
Yeah, so I was 15th pick, so closer towards the end. So I was looking on getting a good duo to build my team around, and I saw that Colossal and Gastron were both still available. And Gastron has Storm Drain, which is one of Colossal's main weaknesses with water. So it absorbs the type, so I thought that was a good synergy. Colossal is a pretty strong sweeper, and it fills in the G-Max slot. I felt like most of the good G-Maxes were already taken before me, so I figured I'd grab it because there's still, 30 more picks until my next selection. So I figured I was going to get 2 of my strongest Pokemon off the bat, and I figured I got a good synergy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Definitely a good kind of 1-2. And I actually, before this game started, I was telling everybody I like Colossal. It's probably a top 3 G-Max pick.
Yeah, I definitely had my eye on him going into it, and once I had that, I think it was maybe my 5th selection. I saw Tyranitar was still available. I already had a lot of solid rock, ground, and steel types, so I just built around it and just planning on protecting Colossal, as you and Tom said, and just hoping he can take out as many Pokemon before he goes down.
Yeah, good strategy. Yeah, and you got some other good Pokemon that synergize. Weavile and Inteleon have some synergies with Colossal too, and you got your Intimidator down in last pick, Mawile. So
yep,
you got
with Clefairy.
Yep. Follow me. So seems like you got some solid overall picks.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy and confident with my draft.
Yeah, very cool. So Juan, how about you? How'd the Delibirds deliver during the draft? Was it a present or a bomb?
Well, the Delibird was my last pick.
There you go, gotta represent.
I had to get him, just to represent the team. But funny story is, I wanted either Grimmsnarl or Togekiss, and they were the first 2 picks of the draft.
Bang bang.
Yep, right off the bat. But that's why it's always good to have a backup to your backup to your backup. So I wanted, as I said in the last podcast I was on, I'm a attack-heavy person. So I was looking for Pokemon that packed punch and try to get some Pokemon there that would give some support because, can't go too attack-heavy or you're gonna get smoked. So I'm happy with the team I got. A good number of those Pokemon I actually used on my main team for the main story, so I know how they work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely I think Tom and I kind of touched on this during our draft review, but I really like the kind of synergies with your team. And like you said, you got a lot of hard hitters, D-Max, Snorlax,
Yeah.
Cinderace now with his Libero ability, Halucha, Como-O, Dreadnought can do some damage if you can set it up right. So, Delibird, some real hard hitters
Yeah.
down the line.
Delibird with the present. You never know what's in it.
You never know. Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Matt? How'd the LA Kinglers end up? You had the second pick in the draft.
Yeah, so I had pick number 2, which was good, but not so good because I had pick number, 35?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty confident with my draft. I tried to get a lot of support Pokemon early, and I figured I could pick up some sweepers, and then good attackers in the B and the C tier, which is what I think I had accomplished there. I know Grimmsnarl I had used last season. I had used the G-Max form, and I had some really good battles with him. So I figured I could take him down to S tier and do even better without the limitation of him being my G-Max Pokemon.
Yeah, I like Grimmsnarl without having to use him as a G-Max, because like your G-Max, you want you want to be able to use those powerful moves, and that takes a lot of like the versatility that like Grimmsnarl has with its support type moves. Its screens, its thunder waves.
Right, that's what you want to use them for.
Yeah,
and maybe a foul play.
Yeah.
But
foul play or like Spirit Break, of course, lowering.
Yeah,
attack,
usually about one stab move on him.
Yeah,
and then the rest is all support to help out the rest of your sweepers.
Yeah, I think you got a lot going on here for sure. I see Hitmontop, you got a good Intimidator, intimidate and fake out.
Yeah, so I was looking. I was trying to get as many gimmicks in there as I could. I tried to get, the Grimmsnarl with the Prankster ability. The Jellicent has Trick Room. Hitmontop has Intimidate. I just tried to go through as many abilities and strategies as I could.
And so what was your thought behind your G-Max pick? You picked up G-Max L Creamy.
So I feel like
you're looking for?
So I feel like G-Max Alchemy was probably the best one available at the time. And again, I think it's a very good G-Max Pokemon with its G-Max Finale move as
a
fairy type.
Longevity with that healing.
Yeah, exactly. Healing. So it's a great support Pokemon as your G-Max. So you can use it as a support Pokemon before you Gigantamax it, and then you can still use it as a support while you're Gigantamaxing it, while also attacking with its G-Max move, and then healing your Pokemon.
For sure. And your last pick, you picked up your mascot, good old Kingler.
I did. Kingler is underrated.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of move coverage. The health is something to be concerned about, but he has a lot of coverage, and I think he's very underrated.
Yeah, but
maybe you'll see him.
Yeah, looking at your team, though, I mean, with your screens and other support Pokemon, you probably have the ability to kind of get a frailer sweeper in there. You know what I mean?
For sure. That was definitely part of my strategy to pick up hard hitters late, so I could set up with them with my A and my S tiers.
Nice. Very cool. So, yeah, so I figure off of that, we'll kind of transition into kind of like what Tom and I were talking about last week. I'm going to pull up a screen share here. So this is the general sort of a consensus that Tom and I went over for the rankings of each team, S all the way down to D, with your teams each kind of in there. So wanted to kind of like, obviously I felt like your teams were like kind of like in the top half, of course, of the league. So I wanted to say like, well done, you guys checked off a lot of boxes on what Tom and I talked about for what a good doubles team kind of like consists of. But I just want to give each of you kind of like a chance to retort because some coaches didn't like what we had to say. Some, I think it was justified, but Tuscaloosa, how about you?
I'm gonna have to agree with what you guys said. Most of my strategy does revolve around Colossal popping off and killing hopefully 3 Pokemon, and then using the rest of my, I guess, sweepers to just finish the job. And Talion, Weavile.
Yep. Yeah, your team was pretty
Pretty straightforward, I would say. Yeah.
pretty straightforward, but it'll be interesting to see how it evolves throughout the season. Because once a strategy gets refined, it gives you more room.
Yeah, more room to work on it. Yeah.
So, Juan, Worcester Delibirds. I think, honestly, and I don't think I hid this in my excitement when talking about your team. I feel like you're probably the second best team, coming out of the draft. So, what do you have to say about what Tom and I were breaking down about your team in the draft?
I believe you guys basically hit it on the nail. I mean, you guys do what I was looking for and the synergies I was looking for. And like I mentioned to you earlier, Tom seems to know the strategy that I would use against him. So, yeah, I don't have any problem with what you guys said about my team. I'm happy with what I have, and I look forward to living up to the A tier.
Yeah, I hope so. I want to see we put both of you 2 brand new teams up in the A sort of class. So I want to see some of this new blood kind of come in and start taking names. But before we move on to Matt in LA, Juan, I wanted to say the big revelation was because obviously when you see Galarian wheezing, you think neutralizing gas. So that's where Tom was kind of going off, and then it halfway through our conversation, it clicked on me. I was like, you don't want neutralizing gas anywhere near.
Yeah.
So when you picked it, were you specifically thinking this is Misty Surge here, or?
Yes. Because neutralizing gas isn't gonna work.
Yeah. Too many of your abilities. Too strong. That Libero and everything. Crazy good. So Matt, we gave you kind of a middle of the road grade. I don't know if you want to call that fair or not. You probably have some more stuff to gripe about than these guys, so kind of give you the floor there.
Yeah, so I can understand why maybe on paper you would put my team down there, but I want to say it's underrated, obviously. I'm gonna let the play speak for itself, and I'm sure I'm gonna move up a tier by the end of the season. But I can see why it's fair. On paper, my team is a little all over the place, but I think the way I have it constructed right now is gonna surprise a lot of people. I'll leave it at that.
Nice. Well, I look forward to it. Like Tom was saying throughout the draft breakdown, prove him wrong. 0-5.
Get you that Gigalith, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's all right. I got my eyes on some other Pokemon too. So if he goes 1-4, I won't be too upset. One isn't against me. So yeah, so awesome. That kind of brings us into this week and kind of going. A lot of preparation this week. I've been kind of grinding the raid den. There's a lot of good raids going on. GMAX is kind of the thing. A lot of good mystery gifts that Pokemon are handing out over the last few weeks. If you haven't gotten your mystery gift for this week, started Thursday night, runs until next Thursday after the DLC, which will be a big thing to talk about in next week's podcast, comes out. Make sure you get your 50 big nuggets. That's 1 million Pokedollars. And your 100 large XP candies. So make sure you get that opportunity for all you aspiring trainers out there. But yeah, why don't we just kind of go around and just talk about what we've kind of been doing this week to kind of get our team ready for, real games next week. So, Jack, how's Tuscaloosa preparing?
Well, shout out Tom. Used his breeding service or whatever. Boo. All right, yeah, I got my team, so I've been spending most of my time just working on my strategy and theory crafting, how I'm gonna go about the upcoming weeks. Hopefully, get some dubs.
Nice. That's always fun. I love, like on a Monday after like all the previous week's games, I just look at my next opponent's team and I'm like, okay, what's strong against them, what's not, what can I expect them to bring, and then from there try and figure everything out. I use Smogon damage calc a lot. Like,
Yeah.
what moves are going to be able to kill this? What percentage do I need this to be at to switch this Pokemon in? So yeah, theory crafting is always really fun. Juan, how about you? How are you handling the preparation this week before the real matches?
In the battle tower, using doubles, just trying to get a feel because, so used to playing singles. So I got to get in how doubles works. It's a learning process, I'll say that. But I'm up for the challenge and can't wait for the season to start. But that's basically what I've been doing. And, just trying to think of the right move sets to have and abilities and all that other fun stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll post some on our Discord. I'll post some websites that I like to use for specifically for doubles as well. That give some really good move sets and like just kind of like, okay, if you have this, let's just say like one of my Pokemon Clefable, like this is in competitive doubles. This is how much use this ability. This is how much use this item, etc. And it kind of gives you like an idea of like, okay, this is like the general sets that people use. Where can I go with that? So if you're part of the Discord, I'll be posting some links on that probably this weekend to give people some more stuff to think about, because I'm sure most people will start doing their games during the weekend before the end of the week. Matt, how about you? How are you spending this week? Grinding the battle tower?
Grinding the
theory
battle
crafting,
tower.
Catching EVs? What are you doing?
Catching EVs, grinding battle tower. Shout out to Tom. I'll take everything he says with a grain of salt, but I have whatever he gave me, and I have a few other surprises on the Pokemon he did not give me. But mainly just grinding battle tower with all 10 of my draft picks, seeing what works and what doesn't.
Very cool. Yeah, I wouldn't take Tom's word for much. I asked him what my strategy should be for my opponent this week, and he said just bring one Pokemon. I was like, that doesn't seem so good. I don't know.
Can't trust the competition.
Yeah. I figured it'd be worth it, but that's okay. That's what I get for listening to 4th place in the league last season. So. Kofi's got to show up on the podcast every week until someone dethrones me. And that's like 10 weeks away, people. All right. Awesome. Cool. So I'm glad to see like you guys are kind of like already in the, as Jack said, the theory crafting and the practical battles. I'm still kind of like grinding up some of my team, and I'm helping a couple other people with theirs. So I'm hoping, with the weekend, I'll have some more time to do it over the next couple days. Because I told Tom that I want to do our match a little earlier, kind of have like a Thursday night kickoff and everything. So that'll be fun. And I want to record some preseason games for the folks on YouTube. That way you can get some real game content. So I might not use my exact team because I don't want to give too much away, but at least it'll be like some sort of doubles. And I'll probably use like 1 or 2 of the Pokemon that I picked, so people can at least appreciate it. Maybe I'll use some free agents to give people some idea of what Pokemon weren't picked. All right, so now we got everyone's favorite segment, mail time. All right. All of these come from Facebook this week. No Discord, no YouTube, but that's all right because we got a lot of them. All right. This is for everybody. What is one takeaway you have from the draft? So just like one key moment. I got mine, but I'm going to let all of you do yours first. Jack, what's your key moment or key takeaway of the draft?
I always have backups because there's a few times where some of my priority picks got picked before me, which was unfortunate. But I always had a couple selections in mind, so I knew what I wanted, even if what I initially wanted got taken.
Always a good strat. Juan?
Well, it's good to see what people were trying to get at with what Pokemon they chose and what strategy they plan on using. So it was good to like kind of guess based on the Pokemon they picked.
Yeah, that's always fun trying to see how people's teams are like evolving after the first few picks. Like, okay, I can see what you're doing here. Like,
Yeah.
Matt, how about you? What's your key takeaway from last week's draft?
Yeah, my key takeaway is much of the same. Always have a backup and try and scout out the teams as they're being drafted.
Yeah, I'm kind of going off of that. Like, I feel like, Matt, obviously you picked Jellison, so you guys can have like a little trick room thing that you could do. But I'm expecting like, I know it's hard to like all go hard trick room, but obviously like shout out to the wallpaper. My team's pretty hard trick room. So I was expecting like at least like one other team to maybe try and go hard trick room, but I was surprised I was like the only one that was like kind of all in on it.
I do have 2 trick room users.
Yeah. But I would say, I guess your team is pretty on the slow end.
I tried to keep it slow. There was one pick that I had whiffed on because whoever I had wanted had gone like 2 picks before. And so there was about only one pick I really completely whiffed on because my pick had just gotten taken and I was like, oh, well, Togedemaru it is.
That Togedemaru
seems like the best available.
Can do a lot.
It can do a lot, but I feel like it's bad synergy with Trick Room.
Yeah, it's not, what. You
you're
need something when Trick Room can't get up. You know what I mean?
Right. Because I mean, if I nuzzle and then their Pokemon's paralyzed, then Trick Room kind of doesn't really work as well.
And you can still paralyze super fast things, and then just try and get full para.
Yeah, that's true. So that was I think that was the only pick I really kind of missed on.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So I want to say my key takeaway is that I'm going to need more help next time we draft because I was doing like too many things and wasn't paying attention to what I was going to pick. And that kind of like made me do some stupid decisions on my part because I wasn't like looking at what was available at the time. But, that's future planning for future seasons or something. And obviously with everything going around the world, COVID-19, etc., everything has to be virtual. So I'm hoping to one day do a in-person kind of draft party for one of these seasons, but that might have to be till next year. So we'll see what comes of that. Awesome. So next question. Well, we kind of went over this. How are we preparing for the upcoming season? I feel like we're all kind of at different stages of that. I'm still pretty early on in preparing. And the rest of you guys are kind of already like battle testing and theory crafting. So that's very cool. All right. So this question from Facebook, what can we expect from your team week 1? So I don't know how much we want to give away, or this is kind of an open-ended question. So Matt, I'm going to let you start off with this one. What can we expect for your team from week 1? Take that however you want to take it.
Yep, you can expect a W.
There you go. Wow. Well, I got who are you playing against? I gotta look this up. I gotta call somebody.
Oh, he's right. He's right on the other end of the call.
Oh yeah, dang, that's right. Oh shoot, Juan, what do you have to say to that? You expecting an L?
No, definitely not. But I like that mindset, though. Yeah, I don't want anybody
Dang,
to
I
come.
thought you guys were gonna keep it tame or something.
I don't want anybody thinking they're gonna come in and lose. I like that mindset. It makes it more competitive. But of course, I don't think I'm gonna lose either. But we'll see what happens. I think we'll both know at the end of the match where our team is gonna be going from there.
Yeah, very very true. You can kind of like figure out like, wow, this strategy that I drafted really worked, or wow, I'm gonna need some pieces or something to bring this together. One battle crafting and theory crafting is one thing. Actually playing the game against a real opponent, yeah, totally different. So Jack, how about you? What can we expect from the Tuscaloosa Talonflames week 1?
Hoping for a W. I'm not super concerned about who I'm playing against. I don't think they have
Who are you playing against?
the Psyducks. I don't think they have many.
Mighty Psyducks.
I don't think they have many answers, and based off what I heard of their last season's performance, I'm not too worried.
Hey, don't sleep on them Psyducks. I sent them a few Mons earlier, so
We'll see.
they got some stuff. They're cooking with some gasoline. I just hope they don't get too close to the burner. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So awesome. And as for me, I'm expecting a really tight game. I think Tom's definitely one of the more outspoken competitors we have in the league. So whether that means he can back it up will be one thing, but I expect him to play pretty well. I remember in our season 1 match, on paper it looked like I came out pretty far ahead with 3 Pokemon left, but it was actually a really close game, kind of through and through, a couple key decisions. So that's what I'm expecting this game. I'm really concerned about our leads. This is what I'm thinking over and over again, because I know what I want to do against each of his pairs. But if I have the wrong pair to start against whatever pair he sends out, you don't want to be playing on the back foot in doubles. It's very hard to kind of catch back up. So that's my biggest concern. But unless something horrific happens, I'm expecting a very tight game and let the best coach win. All right, so next question. And these last 3 questions were all from Chris on Facebook. So thank you, Chris, for giving us these questions. Is there any pick that upset you or wish you can take back? So one key pick. I'll go with mine first this time. I panicked and picked Torracat, and I don't know why. My first pick was Dusclops, so I already had an Eviolite user. And I was thinking parting shot, I would like that. So I was looking at a Lowland Persian, and I was like, ooh, but I need Intimidate too. And Matt had just picked Hitmontop, who I kind of had my eye on earlier in that round. So I was like, oh man, and it, again, I was paying attention to 20 different things going on. So I was like, Torracat. And I should have taken damn Scrafty. Scrafty would have been way better.
Way better.
Anyway, that's my kind of regret. My biggest one anyway. I have several regrets, but Juan, how about you? What any key pick you want to talk about?
Well, I will say the only pick that I did was Delibird, because just to represent my team, that was really no strategy involved in that. So
You gotta bring him to at least one game, though. That's
yeah. No, I plan on doing that, but we'll see if that pick will end up biting me in the ass or not.
Yeah. Jack, how about you? Any key pick or something that you kind of missed out on, or you were like, oh wait, I picked this, but this guy was available, I didn't realize.
Probably Durant, because it's a B tier and I picked it super early, and I didn't really remember that the only reason he's super strong is because Dynamaxing, but I'm not going to be able to Dynamax him because I have to use the G-Max. So the 80% accuracy is going to be tough, and I might look to replace it, but that's the only thing I can think of that I made a mistake on, personally.
Yeah, I will say, though, that in the singles league, Durant did pretty well. It definitely hits hard. Yeah, the 80% accuracy on your moves really hurt.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only issue, because his move coverage is super strong, and he's overall pretty powerful, but the accuracy is going to be an issue.
Yeah, he'll be hit and miss for you, but when he hits, he'll really hit.
He'll hit, yeah.
You'll drop him that week. Matt, how about you? key
So
pick that you're like, oh, what the hell is this on my team?
Yeah, like I had mentioned earlier, the Token Damaru pick, I was kind of somebody had just taken Gengar that I had my eyes on, and it was the pick right before my pick, and I was like, oh well, what do I do here? And again, Token Damaru just looked like the best available Pokemon. No synergy on my team, but we'll see where it fits in.
Yeah, well, maybe because like you said, it doesn't have synergy on your team, but it's a solid Pokemon overall. So maybe
Right, so that's
could
be a pretty good trade bait.
Look for some trade fodder or something, you know. Very cool. All right, next we have this question's from Katie on Facebook. Did Boston and Montreal overrate themselves during our coverage on last week's podcast? So I'm going to say a flat yes. Montreal totally overrated themselves. This is bullshit. They got to be taken down a notch. It's ridiculous. But Boston Braviaries deserve that A- rank. Jack, what do you think?
Honestly, I don't know too much about what the Montreal Melodic's strategy is going in, but I feel like if someone has an answer to your trick room with was it taunt or even fake out, you're gonna struggle a bit. But if you can execute your strategy, I do think your team is definitely A tier. I don't know what
20 different ways to get a trick room, boy. You'll see.
I don't understand truly what the Melodic strategy is going in, so I can't really talk about them. But if there's someone has an answer to your trick room, I feel like your team is definitely gonna struggle.
All right, Juan, what do you think?
No, I don't think you guys overrated yourself. I mean, you're the defending champion, so you should be a high tier.
Yeah.
And Tom seems the most excited about doubles, and he's been putting a lot of good tips on the Discord channel, and he seems like he really knows what he's talking about. So, and his team looks good. So I really don't think either of you two are overrated. I think the week 1 matchup really is one to watch for.
Yeah, that hurts having a week 1, I gotta say, you know, like having either of us have to start out 0-1, like that's not exactly where you want to be when you think you have a good team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe whoever wins is going to set the tone for the season. I think whoever wins is going to be the favorite.
Matt, what do you have to say about the defending champ and the Montreal Melodics?
100% you guys overrated yourselves.
Wow. Harsh.
That was last season. This is this season. We'll see what happens. It's a pretty level playing field. I think you guys definitely overrated yourselves are extremely biased. So we'll see what happens come the season.
Look at this. I put 3 teams ahead of me. How is that biased? 2 of them are on this podcast. If I was biased, I'd be like, no, I see these 3 teams, they're never on the podcast again. I'm just having these
I don't see the Militics here. That's what all I'm saying is I don't see the Militics here right now.
Yeah, well, he's already been on a couple. I'm trying to, you know, spread the love.
No, I appreciate it, but
yeah, no, it's good to have you
so
guys.
everyone's agreeing with you, so I gotta come from the other angle.
Yeah, you got the devil's advocate, but I don't know. I can take the heat. Like, you know, Tom gave me a B+. I think that's a little, you know, I can see that because, like Jack said, you know, if my trick room doesn't get up, it's going to be harder. But I think people are underrating a lot of my support Pokemon. I think they can do more than just help trick room get up. And I think, you know, Melmetal does not go down easily. I'm just going to say that. And Double Iron Bash, yes, you want it to hit first because of that flinch chance. But if it hits after, it's still taking something down. Unless you're resisting it. And even resisting, it's going to take like half your health. Trust me.
You know what's funny, though? Is like, doesn't Boston and Montreal have a rivalry in hockey?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it's carried over to the Pokemon League.
Carried over here. And yeah, and I remember LA and Worcester having a big rivalry, right? Something
For
like
sure.
The week 1, it will be.
that. I think Boston has a rivalry with everybody. Like Boston just hates everybody who's not in Boston. Like think about it. You got Boston, New York. You got Boston, LA. You got like you said, Boston, Montreal. You know, like Boston. Said, you ain't from Boston. Get out of here.
We're a bunch of assholes.
That's right. That's right. You're like my sister team Juan over there in Worcester, part of the Commonwealth. All right, awesome. So again, that was from Katie. So last couple questions, and these are actually pointed at you, Matt. LA Kinglers, and these are from Devin. What are you planning to do different this season compared to last season? And what was your biggest takeaway from season 1, being a season 1 veteran coach?
So to answer the first part of the question, I'm preparing a lot more for this season than I did last season. Before last season, I hadn't played competitive Pokemon. I never EV trained anything. I never cared about what the nature of the Pokemon was. So now I'm actually paying attention to that, and I'm trying to make a full season of how good can I be with setting the proper natures on my Pokemon, EV training all my Pokemon the right way, and see where I can go from there. My biggest takeaway from last season is that EV training and making sure your Pokemon have a good nature is important. So if I went 3-5 without doing any work, really, so we'll see what happens this season.
Oh, there you go. Kind of a subtle brag there. Yeah, I went 3-5 while asleep at the wheel. We'll see what happens now.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, very cool. I like that. I want everybody to go 4-4, except for me. All right, awesome. Anything else you guys wanted to touch on this week's podcast before we close it out? Come on, Jack. You've been saying a lot. You've probably been Tom freaking Jr. on the Discord with your smack talk. What?
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not worried about many teams on my schedule.
And yeah, how about we do that? How about we kind of like go over each schedule and everybody's schedule, and you kind of like point out a key game or something that you want to talk about on here. So obviously my key game is this week number 1 against Mr. Tom in the Montreal Milotics, and then I get to play week number 2 over here against the Tuscaloosa Talonflames. So I got a couple basically what I saw as the number 1 team in Tom and the number 3 team in Jack over here. Then I get a couple of the expansion teams, Houston, Seattle. I go against Waco, one of my closest friends and bitter rivals. Then I got to play against the Minnesota Nido Kings. I get a bye week. And then I got to play against Detroit. So one kind of like our rematch from the season finale. And for those who don't get the joke, my bye week is against the Mighty Ducks. So Matt, wow. Kind of looking at your schedule, you're going up against Worcester, the Gangards, Denver Ninetails, week 4, Montreal, Tuscaloosa, Houston, Seattle, and Waco to close it out. Any key games you're looking forward to?
So, I have Worcester my first week, and then I got about, three veterans in a row right after that. I think the team I'm looking forward to playing is Montreal. I beat them last season. It was really close, so I think that's going to be a really good matchup.
Big early upsets of the young season 1,
Yeah.
Like Kinglers taking down the Montreal Milotics. Very cool.
So I think that's going to be the game to watch that week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Juan, going over your team, again, facing LA week 1. Then you got the Davenport Dragapults, the Detroit Steelix, season 1 finalists, Lavender Town Gangars, Denver Ninetails, another team playing against Montreal, Tuscaloosa, and then Houston. Any key games you got notched up there?
Week 1 for sure, because it's the first game.
Mhm.
So, it's a good way to see, how this is going to work, whether my strategy sucks or not. I say Detroit Steelix is one looking forward to because he was a 7-1 team last year. I think that's going to be a good measuring stick matchup, see where I measure up against one of the elite teams from last year. Denver Ninetails, just because it's Detroit Steelix. Devin mentioned the last podcast I was on that Ninetails got on fire after week 1. So sounds like Ninetails is going to be a competitive match. And of course, Montreal. If I can either beat Tom or at least give him quite a challenge, then I know I'm doing something right. If I get completely wiped out, that's just not good.
Yeah, you got a very interesting schedule, Juan. 3 out of the final 4 teams from season 1 you got to play against. The only one you're not playing against is me.
I'm surprised. I honestly thought I was going to see you on the schedule.
And okay, I'm not biased. I randomly generate these things. All right.
But I like that, though. 3 of the 4 best teams. Like I said, it's going to show me where I'm at.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, well, I expect you to do pretty well this season, Juan, so prove me right.
All right.
You're not playing against me, so do as well as you want. All right, then we got the Tuscaloosa Talonflames. Jack, you got week 1, Mighty Psyducks. The
Not so
showdown
concerned
week
about that.
2.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty worried about your team. I feel like you have a good matchup into what I'm trying to do with the trick rings, but I have a couple tricks up my sleeve and I'm getting ready for it. So if I can successfully shut you down, I feel like I have a good chance. I'm only super worried if teams have like a wall that can kind of stop what Colossal wants to do. So I'm worried about definitely you and also the LA Kinglers with the Jellison. But apart from that, I'm not super worried with what's on my schedule.
Yeah, you got Charm City Charizards, which is the Sun team in this draft. You got the Paris thing, Germion. Then you got, like you mentioned, LA. Davenport Dragapults, you're facing Worcester second to last week, and then the Gangars last week. So don't sleep on Worcester, though.
I'm not, dude. I know that the G-Max Snorlax hits like a truck. But
This whole team is semis. Gonna run you over.
we'll see. I'm hoping for a good game, though. There are some teams I have my eye on, but overall, I'm pretty confident with how I'm going to execute my strategy.
Nice. Confidence is key. All right, guys. Well, I think with that, we're going to close out the podcast. So, again, thank you to Jack, Juan, and Matt for joining me. This is Ryan, Commissioner, Head Coach of the Boston Braviaries, and reigning champion of Sword and Shielbert Spectacular Skirmish Society. Signing off tonight. Battle on till next week, guys.